The Rock is pissed. And then the ring is cleared, and all that's left is The Rock and Triple H and the table. And you know what's about to happen. The Rock is back, and so are we. Welcome to Tales from the Attitude Era. We didn't go anywhere. We didn't take a week off.
Yeah, but we're back. Yeah,
but we are back.
Yeah, we were just filming Mummy Returns, and we're back.
I think I saw that they're rebooting or doing another episode of the Mummy, like a relaunch, a next sequel.
Hurry with that sentence before I fall asleep.
Yeah, I really lost interest after The Rock showed up. I never even saw the Scorpion King because it was so cheesy.
It's kind of the last of an era of like that shitty special effect. You know, the special effects, you see them every 5 years there's a leap, and then they kind of settle or whatever. So that was kind of like, now the effects for the Mummy or for the Scorpion King would be like pretty good, like junior high kid doing like, hey, that kid's talented, did the special effects. It was just like,
I really think you need to go back and watch The Mummy Returns and see the special effect of when Rock shows up for the second time as the Scorpion. It's like the worst late 90s CG in the best
bad.
way.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. And it's one of those things too where you realize like, oh, hey, he wasn't in it that much. I mean, he was, but it's like, oh, wait a minute. Like,
yeah, he has like 2 scenes, but it got me in the theater.
Yeah. Then he's the monster. So it's like, oh, I guess that's The Rock.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, like would he even have to shoot anything for that? They would just have to kind of scan his face, and then they could just do whatever they want with it.
Back then, it may have been more of a pain. They may have had to now it's just like, yeah, we'll just stand here. Okay, see ya. We're done. It's all scanned. So I don't know.
Well, we're at the Gund Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. I believe it's called like the State Farm Arena now, or some garbage corporate name like that.
Yeah.
Cleveland, Ohio, sold out like show.
Gund. What was Gund Arena? What was that? That was named after a person? I don't know.
Yeah, Mark Gund. No, I don't know.
Yeah, Eddie Gund,
Oh, it's called the Rocket Arena now.
Ooh, Rocket Mortgage. That's right.
It was named after former Cavaliers owner Gordon Gund. I was close.
Oh, Gordon Gund.
I guess.
Gordon Gund. Cleveland Browns. Not the Cavaliers.
So it's the go-home show for Judgment Day, we're told by Jim Ross. Judgment Day is following Sunday, and sold out show. So that's very nice. A hot crowd.
Still hot. Still everything sold out. Can do no wrong.
And very nice surprise to open the show. The Heartbreak Kid is back.
Oh.
And I want to say that 16-year-old Rob was a huge HBK mark. 13-year-old Rob, 14-year-old Rob was like Shawn Michaels' biggest fan. Like, he was my guy. In the early 90s, mid 90s. And I was thinking about it. It was probably because even back then I was a work rate smart mark, because it was like, I really, really enjoyed his matches and his athleticism. And I feel like he had like a match style that at the time, a lot of guys at WWE didn't have. Whereas in this era, there's more guys that could have held their own with him.
Right. What did you think about, well, let me ask you this. Was it the, I loved his heel turn, I liked him because he was a asshole heel. He was such a good, he was such a classic, pretentious pretty boy.
Heel, but I was on the DX side.
You liked him as you liked him as a heel then. So
oh yeah.
Yeah. Cause he actually didn't really, his whole first singles thing really was a heel turn against Marty Jannetty, right? Threw him through the window there.
I mean, I was a Rockers fan, and then he did the heel turn, and I was upset, but still supported him. Loved his like remake with the weird S&M outfits.
Yeah.
But they looked so cool for the time. I thought so stylized, and Sherry I think really helped get him over too.
Yeah, very Judas Priesty.
Yeah. And then when he worked up the card, like it was really exciting. Like his program with Bret Hart. I think they had the first ladder match in WWE. And
all that stuff's legendary. Absolutely
Yeah.
legendary.
And then when he did that run where he kind of turned heel and like was shitting on Brett, like 97 WWF is my favorite. That period between WrestleMania and Survivor Series, the Screwjob, like that to
Yeah.
me is peak attitude
It's pretty
era.
good. It's
no
it's pretty
offense.
good. And then no, and that's what built it all. Yeah, it's always like that. It's always something before. And Austin McMahon, the best for me, even though it's a non-wrestler, it's the best rivalry in pro wrestling history that I've experienced.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just like completely captivating and fucking hilarious. just like unreal. So I don't know if that qualifies. So you were still young, you still like the baby faces pretty much. So was he your first heel that you liked?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I was very anti heel until Shawn Michaels. Yeah, he was the first guy, just because I just really loved his wrestling. It was always very exciting.
Interesting.
And
See, I always grew up I love the heels always. Always love the heels. Yeah.
No, I was very by the numbers. When I was a teenager, a little smartened up, I of course loved the heels. But no, I was very upset at 14 when right before 14 he kept missing shows, and there was like, oh, he might have to retire. I was very, very bummed out. I was still like excited for Steve Austin and loved Austin, loved his ascent, but throughout those years, I was like, oh, maybe he can come back. And then anytime he would show up, I would see in the gossip, in the dirt sheets, that like, oh, he showed up in no condition. He was asked to leave. He was so high or drunk or whatever he was. And it was just like such a bummer. But like, it definitely felt like a special occasion anytime he popped up on TV.
Yeah. Legendary problems.
Do you have any from this night? Did you interact with him at all?
Just met him, and it was kind of like, it was funny. There was something in the air, so to speak, where it was like, it was just presented to us like, oh, this is, like, oh, he's going to be available. And like, oh, so you just kick around ideas, and I don't even know how it came up. Like, yeah, special referee. Oh, fabulous. And it's that classic, really smart WWF, WWE things of like, oh, we got an ace in our pocket. Bring this out. And especially when like, you could have just ran with Triple H versus The Rock, but this has just made it like, ooh, a different, like Vince always said, you want to do the same thing over and over, but you got to somehow make it fresh. So it's like, okay, the cards are stacked against The Rock, whatever. But this was a new ripple in it, or a new angle that made it seem fresh again. Like, holy smokes. And it was cool because it was vague, because, you always try to play on the truth a little bit. So him coming back was kind of like, everyone said in the air, oh, I guess, he's a different guy. And, and he was, I think at this point he was born again Christian or whatever. I don't know. But the point being, he was back, and it was, I think, a little, I don't know, how should I say, maybe a little awkward, him meeting people backstage and stuff like, oh, it's like, oh, it hasn't been for a while, and oh, he's going to do something. And maybe just his persona too. I think him personally not wanting to be just like a big smart ass or whatever, but that also was like the fascinating thing about wrestling, because it played into what he was going to be. And he was like, oh, he's doing a promo, and oh, is he, I don't know how many smart marks were out there knowing like, oh, he's had problems and he's back. Oh, but is he going to be in Triple H's corner? Oh, can you trust him? All that stuff played out there with just a relatively like whatever promo. So it was all fascinating to me, where like, oh, we're just from a booking point of view, it's like, oh, this is easy. He'll come back and say his little stuff, and he'll be, the special referee. But there was a lot of intrigue there. So that was great. Be like, easy peasy. But you can just feel like no one, what did you think? Did you think that at the time? Like, can he be trusted? What's going to happen? Is he going to turn?
I think this was an interesting like side dish to the main event. Like it's similar to how you had Austin last pay-per-view, kind of as like, oh, this is an intrigue. Like this could be something bad. And with Shawn Michaels, to your point, like knowing their history, and okay, he's the special ref. Is he going to help Triple H? You even show the clip from the first SmackDown where he came back to be a special ref and cost Rock the title. So it's like, oh, and it kind of plays into all the swerves you've had in the last few weeks where you
Right.
and also we're in a very big swerve moment. like the crowd is like the swerve is the obvious way. So by not doing a swerve, if you don't choose to, in essence, that's the swerve because everyone's expecting a swerve.
Yeah. And add on top of that, he's a huge star who's been absent for a while.
Yeah, exactly. He was the top
intriguing.
guy of the proto Attitude Era. I'll say it wasn't like, and also to your point, he had been doing better. He started his wrestling school. He has his own promotion, and I was just thinking too, what a different time it was because I was, like I said, such a huge mark. I had no way, being in New York, of seeing any Texas Wrestling Association stuff. And I believe I would only read about it and how like they had their big event of the year and he actually came out of retirement for a match against their top heel. I forget who it was, but I was just like, oh my God, to see him in a match in 99, 2000 would have been so cool. But there was just no way to see it. Whereas now that would have been like a streaming pay-per-view, you know, it would have been so easy to see. So I thought that was really, really cool. And you got to look at his resume of guys he trained. Most famously would be Bryan Danielson. Daniel Bryan. I was a big fan of Paul London, who unfortunately never got his fair due, but another guy he trained. And Lance Cade, or I forget his name, but he passed away sadly. Good Hoss. So there was a lot of guys that ended up in.
Who else was
Brian Kendrick?
Yeah. That's one for me that I don't know why. Yeah, he had such a short career, or I mean, he's still. I don't know. I had high hopes for him. I liked yeah.
He posted some weird stuff that kind of got him canceled, but I love Spank.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. No, him and Paul London, that tag team that they had.
Yeah.
They were like the saving grace of WWE during a very dark period in the mid-aughts when there was like, it was all just these roided up, beefy dudes, and they were the only ones actually doing cool, high-flying tag team tandem things.
Yeah, and he had just a good smart-ass heel persona. And
No, he was fun. They were great. So Shawn Michaels kicks off the show. We're reminded that he's the WWE commissioner, which completely forgot about it. I mean, he hasn't been on TV in like a year, right? Like it's been, and I think it's very interesting because I see what you're setting up because you're transitioning to eventually Mick Foley being commissioner, which is one of my favorite ongoing storylines of this current moment because he elevated so many, like he helped Edge and Christian, Kurt Angle, like so many. His interaction with heels was so great.
Right.
Al Snow. And so he announces that he is he can't, like, he's apologizing for not really being around because he just had a kid. His priorities are his school and his wrestling promotion, and he hasn't been doing a good job as commissioner. He blames himself for letting all hell break loose with the McMahon-Helmsley regime.
Right.
And he said so he is resigning as commissioner. And I thought you were going to announce Foley as commissioner right then and there, but you're saving that pop, I'm guessing, for next week.
Yeah, there was a lot of back and forth about like, he's the commissioner. He is? Do people know that? Well, it doesn't matter. Should he be reinstated? No, he still is. Okay, should he name him? Maybe Linda could name him commissioner. No, but he is still. Oh, so maybe we just shouldn't mention it. Man, but what's his just and then like, oh, it's 6 o'clock or whatever. But just one of those things like talked around in circles for a bit, and then it's kind of funny. Oh, that's right. I blame myself. Pretty good.
So then he says he like he said he's partially responsible, and he reminds everyone of the first SmackDown last August, which is crazy that it hasn't been a year that SmackDown has been on. And they show the clip of Rock about to land a people's elbow, and Shawn Michaels interrupting him with sweet chin music, allowing Triple H to win the match. But for some reason, in the interim, he's no longer a fan of Triple H, which brings up the intrigue that you were saying of like, can we trust him? Do I believe him? Vince immediately interrupts. He says, "You're the Heartbreak Kid. You obviously don't need an invitation to show up tonight." And Michael says, actually, he was invited by the CEO of WWF, Linda McMahon, which which is an interesting twist. And he says he has 2 announcements. Michael says that he's the new spokesperson for WWE, which is just nothing. Like, what does that mean? That was very clunky. Like, I retire as commissioner, but I'm the spokesperson.
Yeah.
I guess you wanted him like in some, or Vince, I'm guessing, wanted him in some official role. Or
like I said, that was talk to death, and then all right, get out. It's this. That's
yeah. And he says you have an Iron Man match on Sunday. There's only one man in WWF that's gone 60 minutes. I'm the one man that made the Iron Man match. I think Bret Hart would have some reservations about that, but he's not there. And so he said, I will be the special guest referee this Sunday. This got a big pop. Vince said, no question.
Also
HBK.
clunky, like, yeah. So since this, then in algebra, so A equals B, so
yeah.
A
Since
equals
I'm
C.
the only man in the Iron Man, I'm the only man that had an Iron Man match. I should be the ref. What?
Yeah. Because I am the spokesman and commissioner who hasn't been around, but new spokesman and special referee. Yeah.
He said he's one of the greatest world champions of all time, one of the most resilient. But I wonder, how resilient are you now? And then Shawn Michaels just shoves Vince McMahon. And he's the new special ref. And that's the segment. His music rock. And there he goes. Then after the commercial break, I really like this little half a second. We see as the camera fades up, the shot fades up, Michaels is getting into a limousine, pulls out, and immediately a new limousine pulls in.
Nice.
And DX comes out, and they're like, whoa, was that Shawn? Shawn, was that? Whoa. like acting like they're friends, but like, is he avoiding us? You know, what's going on? And blah, blah, blah. And I think that's really, really good intrigue. And I like that they're acting like they're still friends with Shawn Michaels. Because why wouldn't they be? Right? He's the founder of DX, and they're DX.
Yeah, it's mysterious. But he hasn't been around because he's had his kid.
Right. And he's Christian now.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, I noticed that Michaels had like a tear in his eye. Like he was like emotional coming out and being in front of the crowd.
Well, like I said, there was an awkwardness because you got to realize, I think, and I'm not don't want to speak for anyone, but like his life, my goodness, the heights he reached, not only what a life-changing run for him financially, and then also, and I'm not putting words in his mouth because he has admitted it, and everyone burned the candle at both ends, or however you want to put it, like, was really, really out there in terms of, what kinds of substance abuse and attitude with people and getting beat up and this, that, and the other, in this, whole tumultuous thing that he had to like, just be like, oh God, that burned me out. And as we know, classically, pro wrestling, my goodness, it's it's life or death quite a lot. And he really walked to the edge of the abyss, so to speak, and then kind of walked away from it, and also injured and all this kind of stuff, and then has been away and settled. So this is his first time back. So imagine for him it was absolutely emotionally overwhelming, even though it's like, oh, you're going to come back and do some business and we'll do this and that. Okay, no problem. But you could see, and then like, just someone showing up after a while. Hey, how's it going? Haven't seen a lot of faces. For him, it was probably like really times 10. And you could kind of see it. Like I said, I only just, briefly met him and talked to him, but you could kind of feel that, like the way, people were, oh, wow, there he is. He's doing good. This,
and really, like,
a lot
there's
of baggage
way less
to unpack.
Yeah. And like, there's way less people backstage that he recognizes too. A lot.
Yeah.
The roster's changed a lot too. So it could just be like, oh, I'm a ghost here,
And even with, the age, I wouldn't even, begin to think just the whole deal. It's
and it's going to be, it's still like another 3 or 4 years, I believe, until he comes back. He has a great SummerSlam match with Triple H.
Right.
But,
and that's got to be on his mind too, of like, how much can I, cause his body too, like, my goodness, that guy's, he really injured himself and he really put himself through the paces. So all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Like it's crazy because he was the top guy during their worst business era. So I'm sure he kind of blamed himself for that a little bit, when I don't think it really was his fault. It was just, a downturn in business and how WWE was doing business. But because business was so bad, they had to do like 8 shows a week to turn a profit. So his body was banged up, you know.
And his style is not body, not friendly for your health. Put it that way.
Exactly. You know? Like that's the downside of like, oh, I was so entertained by him, but like, it requires way more gas. And not steroid. I mean, like in the tank, like metaphorical gas.
Yeah. And he's a bump taker too. In a big way, you know.
So that great segment. And then so after that, DX gets out of the limo. Like, oh, is that Shawn? Oh. And then Big Show
was that your
in.
Lawler there?
Big Show interrupts, and this is an ongoing bit backstage. And he's wondering if Shane was in the limo with them, and they're like, he's not here. He's not here. It's just us. Get out of here. Dudley's come out. They're wrestling head cheese. Been a few weeks since we've seen Blackman, and even longer, I think since we've seen Al Snow. But now Snow seems to be zen. He says backstage, Blackman says, no more joking around. We got to get serious. And Al Snow says he no longer has head, and Blackman no longer has an affinity for cheese. And Blackman interrupts like, I never had an affinity for cheese. Snow says Blackman's a little worked up. He needs to meditate. That's what serious people do. And he just walks off, and Blackman's like, I just can't with this guy. And we learned that the Dudleys are taking on Road Dogg and X-Pac in a tables match this Sunday. The match starts, and DX is watching from the stage. Crowd is just chanting for tables. Dudleys eventually win with a 3D on Al Snow. Blackman attacks the Dudleys after, and DX run down, storm the Dudleys, set up a table, put Bubba on the table on the outside, and then Tori goes to the top rope, does a huge splash onto Bubba, getting a little payback, and a great way to set up what I imagine is a Tory table spot at the pay-per-view. You got to pay to see man-on-woman violence. You get the woman-on-man violence free.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, I assume, like, what else is the draw for this match? I mean, I guess it's a tables match, but the people want to see a woman through a table. You got to give the people what they
people. Want. And in that phrase, the people, is young Rob Pasbani. Don't separate yourself from the people.
Yeah, no, I want to see Tori go through a table. After the break, backstage, Bubba's in a trance. Devon declares that at the pay-per-view, Tori will pay and she will testify. Stephanie comes out, gets big boos, good reaction. She recaps the segment, the main event segment on SmackDown, where she almost got stink-faced. Can you imagine that sweaty, bulbous, revolting bottom in my face? That's disgusting. And there's only one man who'll take you out who's just as sickened as I am. It's Kurt Angle. Playing onto her flirtation with him a little more, extending that. While it's still on it's on the shelf temporarily, you're still kind of playing with it. And Kurt Angle has the mic. He says it's sickening behavior. Maybe that's how, I love this line. Maybe that's how you greet people in Samoa. I don't know. Rubbing your butt on people's faces might be suitable behavior in simple places like Samoa. And let's face it, Cleveland as well. How do you think the Cleveland Browns got their name? Bah!
Yeah.
Great heat. The stink face is not a sanctioned move, and it should be barred.
He's like, for me, sometimes, cheap heat, he's like the master of it. Like sometimes, and for those that don't know what cheap heat is like when you're like, oh, let's just say the town sucks or whatever. And they call it cheap heat because it's like an easy way to go. But for some reason, Kurt Angle, you love when he does it, and he's just so great at it. And it's like, where sometimes you want to be like, take it easy with the cheap heat, but not with him. Like, no, go cheap. Everything the way he's doing his promos, he's just better and better. He just cracks me up every time.
I like also that he doesn't put the emphasis on the cheap heat. Like he just allows the crowd to figure it out. Like,
yeah,
like he could go like Cleveland, Ohio.
Right.
Like he doesn't do that.
Right. Yeah,
it's
great.
Still very straight laced, like delivered like a baby face. So
yeah.
I think that's what makes it really work.
No, he's genuine, because that's the funny thing. And remember, even like, going over stuff, it's kind of like, I'm genuinely confused. I guess that's how they do it. And some no, he's like, you don't know how rude you are. Kind of like, he's just like a big dummy. Yeah, it's great.
And then Rikishi comes out. Pat Patterson is on the stage with Edge and Christian. Love that you're reintegrating Patterson and Brisco. I just want to say, like, they're so great during this period, and they're such easy foil. Like, it's easy people to get heat on. Yeah. And they don't, like, it doesn't matter. It's not like they need to retain their stature.
Well, Mr. McMahon. Just like, do you think Pat should have continuously come out with the underwear?
No, I think the underwear had run its course. Although I feel like if this was today, modern day, there would absolutely be like a Mattel Pat Patterson action figure, and the accessory would have been the underwear with the skid marks.
In fact, if I were there today and this was happening, I would pitch, let's get a championship belt with the underwear like on it. Actual underwear on the belt.
Spinning underwear, like the John Cena belt, but it's
spinning. Underwear. Is that gilding the lily one too far? Maybe not. No, there's no such thing.
Sold out.
Spinning skid mark, master of the spinning skid mark. That could be his move too. The spinning
skid mark. As soon as Rikishi teases that he's going to apply the stink face or perform the stink face on Angle, Edge and Christian run down. It's a DQ finish. Rikishi holds his own against all three and almost teases a triple stink face. It doesn't happen. Too Cool come out for the save. Good setup for the 6-man tag that all these guys are having.
There you go.
At the pay-per-view.
I think the proper verb would be deliver the stink face.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Delivers the stink.
Follow the adjective.
Another a Big Show waiting for Shane interstitial. Still not there. Then we have Godfather versus Crash Holly for the hardcore title. Lots of time in this episode to kill because Godfather got his full entrance, his full mic moment.
Sure.
Crowd is really into it.
It's not a channel changer.
He actually said blunt in his like that blunt, which is interesting. I guess it's Raw. You could be a little more flagrant out there. Which I don't know. Like, I don't know why I'm such a, PMRC person about it, but it just seemed like pretty edgy for 2000 to talk about blunt on television.
Well, yeah, that's all so wildly subjective, as we talked before. Standards and practices. What is edgy? Oh, this and that. But it's all so fascinating that wrestling was pushing this envelope, sort of, but yet you could get the crowd to chant "asshole," and it's just all so silly.
Yeah, we're like pussy.
Yeah, and also just like the poor guy's navigating that waters. And I don't think it was this one, but I think something happened somewhere with the Godfather where he said something, and it was just like literally like, "Oh shit, I fucking do this 150 times a year, and I forgot I wasn't supposed to say blunt, and I said blunt." And like shit like that would happen. That may even have been here. Who knows? And then it's like, whoa, what's gonna happen? What because like, what the fuck? You can't, you can't just keep a handle. Oops.
Okay, so it's Godfather versus Crash Holly, hardcore match, basic hardcore match, I would say. Godfather has the advantage. Crash is down. All of a sudden, D'Lo runs out, continuing his little feud with Godfather, and pulls Godfather out of the ring to attack him. And then a hoe, as she is identified, sneaks into the ring and gets the pin on Crash. The WWF Hardcore Champion is Godfather's hoe.
Yeah.
Almost immediately, Crash Holly rolls her back up. There's a bit of a panty shot. And he gets the 1, 2, 3, retains the title for what is now the 43rd time. He's a 43-time hardcore champion.
Yep, love it. I remember pitching something like, what was this where I wanted like either a hoe or someone, or maybe it was even the APA involved, where they got a kick out of keeping someone hardcore champion, like just like an audience member or some just like weird random goofball that they would destroy the person and then pin him, to keep the championship on someone like a hoe or someone weird that didn't deserve it, by virtue of the APA or something like that. But it didn't happen. And through
This
my
was fun.
terrible explanation, that's why it didn't happen. Gotta pitch it better.
No, I do like, I like these. This is where you can have fun with the hardcore title. It's not a serious title. It's meant to be fun. And I like when you have these moments where you're like, we've never seen this before. We've never seen a valet just come in the ring and try to be champion. So
right.
It's good. Then Vince McMahon, Triple H, and Stephanie come out. The graphic identifies them as the McMahon-Helmsley faction, not the McMahon-Helmsley regime. There's no regime. It's I do find it weird when the term faction is used on screen. You know, that feels like an off screen.
I agree. It was one of those weird, just like everyone loses their perspective moments in some kind of production meeting. Should it be a regime? I don't know. Would they call themselves, it's a faction, and then it's like also one of those things where Vince is like, he's now just Cesario. All right. Don't agree, but whatever.
Right. And also it's like, they're no longer really just DX because it's Vince in there and Shane, and like the corporation is in there, so to speak. So it's weird.
I think I was pitching they should just lean into regime. That's funny. That's good. We are the regime, faction.
Just the regime or the McMahon-Helmsley regime?
Oh, that would be Vince later would just go, it's just the regime. Now it's just regime.
Vince has an announcement. Shawn Michaels has left the building, and it's a damn good thing he has. Nice nod to his initial heel gimmick where he did the Elvis thing of leaving the building. And The Rock will be in the ring tonight facing another champion with far better credentials than him, Chris Benoit, in a submission match.
Ooh.
Which is a good way to set up the pay-per-view. And Triple H says he doesn't believe The Rock knows any submission moves. And this is in The Rock's repertoire currently. He does not have any submission. Eventually, he would co-opt the sharpshooter as his go-to submission. But right now, he has no active submissions in his hold queue. So this is good. And Triple H says The Rock is going to come out and accept his challenge. Has to come out tonight and accept his challenge. He wants there to be no question, no excuse. And says this Sunday there's going to be a new champ. Triple H says he and Shawn have quite the past. But do we have a present? You don't call the match down the middle. I promise we will have no future. The Rock interrupts. It's his first time on WWE television in 8 days or 2 weeks, like in 14 days. Yeah. Something like that. Huge pop. The Rock is officially back on Raw, and let The Rock officially answer your challenge. In 6 days, The Rock is going to officially kick your ass. As good as you are, The Rock is simply better. And I will prove that on Sunday. Then he says, Shawn Michaels dances. He prances that he's going to be the ref. The Rock can smell a rat. And last time all three were in the ring, HBK cost The Rock the title. So if he doesn't call it down the middle, The Rock will shove his boots straight up HBK's candy ass. Great way to set the tension as we were discussing of like, well, this is quite a wild card. Which way can Shawn Michaels go? Is he going to, if he calls it down the middle, The Rock could have the advantage if he cheats for DX. Also interesting to me, and I don't think I knew this at the time, but later on, I remember in Bret Hart's book, he talked about how there was always tension with Shawn Michaels and The Rock in this era, or right before Shawn Michaels left, because I believe there were some backstage shenanigans where Shawn Michaels and Triple H tried to curb The Rock's push. And I think that The Rock and HBK never quite got along, because my other evidence of this is being one of the 8 people that watched the show The Young Rock. Whenever they would do flashbacks to the moment in time that Shawn Michaels was there, they would have every other wrestler represented except Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was presented, was not there, and replaced by like a black character named like Chad or something, which just shows even more that The Rock holds a grudge against HBK in some way. There's heat there. There's real heat.
Yeah, you could be right. And also par for the course. And then also things were different now as far as like that's one thing about wrestlers. They realize like, ooh, the Rock's filling the seats, so I want to get in on some of that, but
right.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
I found that very, very interesting because also to me, one of the big dream matches we never got to see was Rock versus HBK. Like, and I don't think, I mean, now it's obviously never going to happen. But that would have been, for like 2005, 2006, that would have been a crazy match. That would have been WrestleMania level.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway, I completely forgot that Shawn Michaels was a special ref here, and now I'm even more excited for this Judgment Day match. And this will be a real test for Rock, Triple H, and the fans, because this is the era where most matches, like the average match time is like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You're going 60 minutes, like guaranteed 60 minutes of a match. It's going to be really a challenge for them to keep the crowd's attention and really do the peaks and valleys, and then, like calm them down, get them back up, calm them, and crescendo right at the right time. I'm very curious how they structure the match.
It is. I know, conversely, a lot of times they'll be like, oh, we get to do a lot of stuff that we don't, normally do, too. And kind of, it's not too much of a problem to do that. Although you're right, 60 minutes is like that, I would say most guys would say like, I'd rather have longer stuff. Really, it's a lot harder to pull off these, like, you got 4 minutes, you got 5 minutes, you got 3 minutes, and
right.
High spot, so, it's, they just have to rely on actual old school ring psychology in wrestling,
Yeah. And I'm so glad you actually had pinfalls in this match. Like, not to give too much away of a 25-year-old show, but like I didn't like the Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart Iron Man match. And I say this as someone who was dying to see Shawn Michaels crowned as world champion. I kind of found the match boring, and I hated that they didn't do any like the whole thing is like you're teasing there's going to be multiple pinfalls throughout the match, and then you don't do any,
Yeah.
So it didn't work for me.
Well, what's funny too is those two guys, it seems like I agree. And there was like such a buildup, and it was also like those obviously both those guys did great ring psychology and what have you, but it seemed like just their styles were not like, you could even argue like Triple H and The Rock, that, you could see Triple H rolling out of the ring and doing some kind of like shenanigans or taking a slower pace. You know what I mean? And you don't really feel that with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. You know what I mean? That like, it's just something and probably no one
wanted to lose the first fall, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that was part of it too.
Yeah, things like that. So. If it's like Larry Zbyszko, 40 minutes could be gone before he even locks up,
I hated it as a kid, Larry Zbyszko, but when I watch that stuff now, there is a charm to how great he is at like
it's the greatest.
Hot dogging. Yeah.
Oh, I saw him live once, and it was like, man, and I think they started to be like, oh, this is a thing at the UIC pavilion. Man, it was like 18 minutes before he got his jacket off. He'd like get one sleeve off and then like he'd roll out, and then he'd like put it back on, and people were like, he's like, oh, can he like finally his jacket's off. It was the best.
Yeah, I thought there was like some luchador at like an indie show that I saw. There was like this hardcore lucha match, and they seriously spent the first 15, 20 minutes just not doing anything, like rolling around, like egging on the audience. And I was like, wow, this is great. They didn't have to do any spots. So you think 1 hour is too long for The Rock to handle? The Rock says, well, considering what I'm going to do to you at Judgment Day, 1 hour won't be enough if you smell what The Rock is cooking. Easy peasy.
Nope.
Does the job. I'm sold on the pay-per-view. After the break, we have Hardcore Holly versus Chris Jericho in a hardcore rules match. They come out swinging. At first, I was confused. I was like, wait a minute. Hardcore Holly isn't the hardcore champion. It's a hardcore rules match. But I guess it was just the McMahon-Helmsley regime stacking the deck.
Yes.
And so they have a typical, basic, if you can call it that, hardcore match. Some weapons, nothing too out of the ordinary. Eventually, Jericho locks in the walls of Jericho, And I like this. Benoit sneaks in behind him and puts him in a vicious-looking dragon sleeper. And Holly comes in, has a chair, and whacks Jericho so hard in the head with a chair shot. 1, 2, 3. Hardcore Holly gets the win. Kind of telegraphing that Jericho might win on Sunday here by this.
Think so?
Based on Smart Mark paying attention.
Smart Markism.
Yeah.
Based on Smart Mark mathematics.
Yes, Smart Mark, exactly. Smart Mark mathematics.
Smart Mark analytics.
Yeah. But this was cool. And I really like the viciousness of Benoit with that dragon sleeper. Great setup here. Backstage, Show stops a limo and pulls somebody out. It is not Shane McMahon. Do you remember who this was who he pulled out? Did you recognize the person?
Oh, God.
Looked like an agent or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Now, are you just? I bet you're also just using the same 2 limos, right? like these 2 limo props that you.
No, you're in different cities, different livery. You know what I mean? There's such a relationship between the WWF and livery and rental car companies and what have you, and you just right. And frankly, I have no idea because I would just phone things into what you're gonna need. Gonna blow up an ambulance. There's an ambulance, etc. So yeah, the machine just ordered it. You just order it.
After the break, Shane comes out to the ring. Wait a minute, he's been here the whole time. How is this possible? Show all day was asking, which way did he go? Which way did he go? Shane loves this fucking line. Shane is a little bothered by the chants the last few weeks. And he says, I'll say it. Chant is Shane is a pussy. It gets bleeped on the network version, but I have a feeling you might have let it through on the live version. I don't remember though. But sure. I guess you can't really say pussy. Can you say pussy?
That was a vague one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
right.
You weren't saying in context of a vagina, but you were saying it in terms of a cowardly person, which didn't quite catch up.
Right. At the point, I remember that. Yeah, there were fancy rules about shit too. Like you could say shit as oh shit, but you can't say I'm going to take a shit because that's too vulgar.
Yeah, and ass had certain
similar restrictions,
contexts in different, but because pussy's kind of like, I remember it like being like, oh, weirdos started saying it on the radio, shock jocks or whatever, and then it became tonnage of like, oh, we can say pussy, and then we could say goddamn, but we can't say this, so. I think you could.
Right. I guess The Sopranos was on at this point, and there was, of course, the character.
But that's different.
That is HBO, though.
That is HBO, so that's totally different. And also, that character, basically a big pussy mafia kind of nickname, is a kind of nickname for a burglar in relation to a cat burglar called Big Pussy. So that is even a different context that had nothing to do with sexuality or cowardice. So there. Take that, Smart Mark. Ooh.
Oh, so Shane is a cat. Shane could just be a cat.
Yeah.
Big Show storms out. He tries to attack Shane. Shane escapes, and Show is revealed to be in a handicap match against TNA. TNA come out, and Gerald Brisco is accompanying Trish and the Boyz. And the Big Show dominates the match, which really just shows TNA are kind of like on the herb level, like very low on the totem pole here. Barely get any offense on Big Show. And then at one point, Tess tries to come into the ring. Big Show punches the chair into Tess' face, about to powerbomb Albert when Trish runs in and slaps him. Show is in no mood. He grabs her for a choke slam. Crowd is like, what? And then Gerald Brisco, a man of honor, stands up for the lady, and he runs in and he takes the choke slam. And at that point, Shane comes in with a chair, tries to hit Show. It doesn't affect Show. Bell rings. It's a DQ. Shane runs off, but Show catches him, lifts him up, and chucks him into the WWF.com sign. It looked awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
You had to replay it a few times. Also, I guess Show had a promo at some point, and he says, like, you're trying to get over this new, I'm a big angry bastard or something like that. It says on his shirt. But I'm liking this remodeling of Show as angry. Like, I think, like I said, I love the silliness, and I like how it led to this. I'm not silly anymore. I'm just angry.
Right,
like, you pissed me off. Then we have a tag match, Eddie and Chyna versus Perry Saturn and Dean Malenko. Immediately, Saturn does a crazy spot where he suplexes Eddie over the top rope. And that was like a nothing spot. Like the camera wasn't even focused on it.
It was like,
and I'm
what?
like, this is insane.
Yeah.
And Eddie, of course, landed perfectly. Like, it was fine, but it looked great.
Yeah. Of course, when you go down to like the way he's so unbelievable, Eddie, but if you ever go down to like Mexico City and see some of that stuff, you're just like, oh my God, oh my God. I went down there. I saw I think people went sailing over the top rope like 30 times the whole, in the whole show. Just constantly, just like diving through the ropes and over. I was just like, my God, it's death defying every 2 minutes. So,
like a tope is a headlock down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable.
I love it. I really want to go to Mexico City just to go watch the lucha. It seems so exciting. Like, anytime I turn on CMLL, I'm not super familiar with it, but you don't need to be. Like, you just get into the action. It's fine.
And the crowd, my God, crowd's just as dangerous.
You can't really hear the crowd too well. They don't really mic the crowd too well on the streams, but I've heard the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, when I see like the cell phone footage, it's just like, oh my God, it's so loud.
Yeah.
Chyna gets some offense on Dean Malenko. What a trooper Dean Malenko is. They're selling for Chyna. That's has to be kind of a blow to the ego, but then again, Dean Malenko was eating shit in WCW, so I'm sure he much preferred this.
Well, again, I have to bring up that context. She's a huge star. So, and it's a team sport. So it's like, really, there's a lot worse things to be doing than to be getting those massive ratings and putting your name out there and, and doing good work and, and frankly, doing stuff for the business and helping Chyna as he's the veteran. So, if you look at it that way.
That's fair. Fun finish. All four competitors are in the ring. Chyna is punching Dean in one corner. Saturn and Guerrero are fighting in another corner. Saturn whips Guerrero from one side to the side with Chyna. And so Guerrero hits Chyna, and Chyna instinctively does a backwards mule kick and low blows Eddie Guerrero, thinking that's Perry Saturn. And then she gives Dean Malenko a low blow as well. And then she's incapacitated, and Saturn does a brainbuster and gets the win on Eddie Guerrero, setting up their triple threat match for the European title. I'm excited for this match. This is going to be the work rate. Yeah. Well, I guess the Iron Man match is probably going to be the work rate match of the night, but this will be like a really fun match too.
Maybe. Although one would argue that Iron Man match has to like have its ebbs and flows and might not be the work rate match of the night just because it's 60 minutes.
I guess we'll have to see.
Oh, put that in your smart mark analytic machine.
Cole interviews Edge and Christian. He asks, why would you put your titles on the line in a triple threat match tonight? They're facing the Acolytes and the Hardys. And Christian quips back, why would you dye your hair like an 11-year-old girl? And I like that Cole hid his hair like he was embarrassed.
Yeah. Well, they noticed.
They said they're doing it for the fans. And then after the break, they come out. They have a special 5-second pose, a Cleveland Indian relief pitcher. And the joke being that they pitch and then they always see the ball go over their head into a home run. Getting a little bit of cheap heat. This isn't as effective as the angle line.
No, but it's pretty sophisticated cheap heat. It's not just saying your team stinks. It's a little, little tableau of a little pantomiming.
Yes. And then this was a fun match actually. The Hardys get most of the shine, and then Bing Bang Boom. Matt had the match won with a twist of fate. There's some weirdness with the ref not calling I think the ref was out of position there because he shouldn't have been seeing this. And then Christian sneaks in and hits the unprettier. Edge steals the win.
Little shigazery, little clunky.
Yeah.
Finish it. Yeah. Something got a little gooped.
Kind of a bummer that the Hardys have kind of been like downplayed a little bit late, like the last few months. Since
that means the only way to go is up.
That's fair. I mean, there's only so much time and you have so much going on that some people kind of get forgotten about.
40 plus on the roster and half have to lose. Oh, what do you do? I'm always a fan of like being like, the tough thing is it doesn't really work out like this. If you had like ultimate control, it's always good. I always thought of like, like, because it happens with big sports teams or whatever, it would be good to be someone who's hot to have him like just get on this incredible losing streak, as long as you can shine a light on it, and then they can go, they can only go up. But you know what I mean? The problem with doing it and pitching things like that, we're always like, ooh, do you trust the long-term thinking? Do you trust the long-term planning of the WWF with the mercurial Vince McMahon? And like, no, so people were like, yeah, I'd like to do that, but I don't know if that's going to be the case in 2 months. Am I going to get buried? You know what I mean? It just, so everything gets hot shotted just by nature of like, it's so crazy. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah. I just thought that the Hardys were so over by themselves,
right,
that it was to their detriment, because they're like, oh, we could beat them. The crowd is always going to love them.
Right.
Like,
yeah. No, then that's fair too. And that's part of that's absolutely fair. And that's part of the business too, where you almost say like, oh, you're doing a service to everyone because we couldn't just waste it all on you and you're over. Then like, does that theoretically take away from everyone else, when you want someone like, oh, you're better chasing it because you're underdog. And you're so over, you know what I mean? So
I do agree that they are better chasing it, because it wouldn't work. Like they're underdog. Like you said, they're like, you want to root for them. They're like,
and they're undersized. So
yeah.
You know what I mean? And,
right. So if like they're being chased, it's a completely different dynamic that doesn't quite work as well. That doesn't work to their strength of like, come on guys, you could do it.
Yeah.
That's fair. Backstage, Vince is coaching Chris Benoit, giving him advice on like arm locks and stuff.
Yeah.
And Michael Cole interrupts and he asks Benoit what Vince was telling him, and Benoit says, none of your business. And he asks, well, what are you going to do to The Rock tonight? And Benoit says, tonight will be a preview of what he does to Jericho at Judgment Day. Good promo from Benoit. Easy. We have the main event now, Rock versus Benoit. And as the match is about to start, Triple H and Stephanie come out. At one point, this blew my mind. Very early in the match, The Rock does a takedown and transitions into a Fujiwara armbar. It looked good.
Sure.
And I'm blown. Like, I was like, what? The Rock has moves? The Rock has some jiu-jitsu moves? What's going on? Looked good. Vince comes out, immediate asshole chance. Big heat. Biggest heel on the show. Benoit tries to do the triple German suplex, and Rock fights out of it. Counters into a rock bottom. Huge pop. But Jim Ross informs us The Rock cannot win the match that way. He has to win via submission. At this point, I'm perplexed as a smart mark, thinking, what's the ending here? Someone because the other thing is there was a point where both competitors, at this point were knocked out, and the ref is counting, and Jim Ross says this match cannot end via countout, can only end via submission. And I'm just like, oh, so then someone has to submit? Who's doing the honors here? Like, The Rock is the world champion. He can't have his, but Benoit, you don't want him submitting. So very intriguing. It had the smart mark confused, and like, oh, where's this going?
Yeah. And also, I guess it's one of those things like doing it like, well, I guess I should just still keep counting. Otherwise, I'm just standing there going, Are you okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
Eventually, The Rock locks in a figure four. Steph distracts the ref. Triple H comes in the ring and pulls Benoit to the ropes, breaking the hold. Now, you would assume there's no DQ either in this match, but they didn't make that clear.
Why?
Well, because if there's no count out, wouldn't there be no DQ?
No, it just needs to be a submission. There's still the rules.
Okay.
Besides,
Okay.
It's not a falls count. It's not submission counts everywhere match.
Right.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, then, but there's no count out. So theoretically, The Rock could just run away.
You're actually right. I think then maybe JR shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I think he misspoke. Because I always thought a submission match, it's just there's no pinfalls. Like that's the only
there's
difference.
No pinfalls, there's submission, but you could be counted out.
Yeah. Rock is pissed, knocks over Triple H. Rock immediately walks into the crippler crossface, Within a second, Vince immediately calls for the bell, Montreal style. They're reusing the Screwjob finish, and he forces Lillian to declare Benoit the winner. The Rock is pissed, stalking Vince up the ramp. Jericho comes out behind Vince. So now Rock grabs Vince right as he's about to do something. Triple H stops him. Then Jericho runs in. He has Triple H in the walls of Jericho. Rock bottoms Benoit. DX come out to help. The Dudleys come out to counter them. They bring a table, set it up very quickly. And then the ring is cleared, and all that's left is The Rock and Triple H and the table. And you know what's about to happen. The Rock bottoms Triple H through the table to get his heat back. Not that he really lost the match. It was, shenanigans. Big pop, big setup. Overall, I thought the show was kind of until the main event. The main event was really hot.
Yeah.
Everything else was just like, don't need to do anything. We have a pay-per-view on Sunday.
Yeah, and also it was one of those things where like, okay, The Rock's back. I'll be fine. And even like, like you said earlier, like, yeah, fine his promo, but it's the time you don't want to like, let's add a wrinkle. Like, no.
Well, you did add a wrinkle though. The wrinkle was HBK was the wrinkle.
No, I'm talking about just specifically The Rock's promo.
Oh,
like hasn't been here. He's gonna say this, and the smell with The Rock is. You know what I mean? It's like that'll deliver, and then whatever happens, he's gonna at the end he's gonna be not even like pinfall victorious, but he's gonna be standing tall. Put it that way in the ring, and the crowd will go nuts. Those are the two elements. We're gonna do that. We're gonna send the crowd home happy. Everything else is modular and can change around, but that's going to be fine. Don't mess with that.
Yeah, and
because
really,
it'll work.
The time between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, or maybe King of the Ring at this point, is always kind of a downturn. Like it's things slow down. You're not in as much of a rush,
right?
So it's fine. It's fine.
Woo. Yeah, and it's like the stuff we always talk about. The fun. I always think the intrigue of booking, where I always like when like, oh, someone's absent. Oh, someone's hurt. You got someone in your back pocket. So you kind of like, oh, that The Rock was away for 2 weeks is a plus. And it was like easy to book this one because like, yeah, he'll come back and he'll do this and that'll work. You're always trying to rely on something that'll work with the crowd. And you just know like what a pleasure to be like, oh yeah, he's going to say, smell what The Rock is cooking. And they're going to go bonkers. That'll work. That's when booking's easy. It's like having Barry Sanders in your backfield. Hand the ball off to him. Just watch what happens. There you go.
One other little note I want to mention is I was reading the Observer. Not much in the Observer by the way of news, but
Meltzer.
It's like the secret is out that the Undertaker is ready to come back. And
yes,
I don't know, like I completely missed this at the time. I was totally surprised at Judgment Day when Undertaker came back, but Meltzer basically reported if Undertaker doesn't come back at Judgment Day, it would be on the Raw the week after or whatever. Like he's imminent. And
well, because you couldn't really. First of all, I don't know what the percentage was. Okay, you were reading the dirt sheets, right?
Not at this time.
Okay,
I was a little young to read the dirt. Like I didn't have money to buy them.
And a lot of times the dirt sheets weren't predicting stuff or whatever. They were saying, backstage stuff. You'd get them after the fact a little,
Yeah.
Because like quite literally, because I used to get them too. You'd get them in the mail. So there wasn't this exact online real time sort of like, oh, what's happening? Oh, let me get a recap. Even if there was here and there, it wasn't in the zeitgeist with people.
That's true. The news didn't travel as quick. Like the Observer came out like Thursday, Friday, or whatever, right? Yeah.
And even if there was some news that traveled, the people weren't like all like now, like, oh, I'm online while I'm watching it or right after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The internet wasn't that like widespread. Even like the internet wrestling community was even more of a small fraction of the overall fan base.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it kind of didn't matter. And then even if the people that kind of knew, it didn't spoil it. They just felt like, oh, I'm in on the know. I heard that or whatever. And then even then you couldn't really trust. It was kind of like, oh, I guess he's coming off injury soon. So it was in the air. Possibly it wasn't, totally ruining things. You know, it was still intriguing. You know, and it kind of like it worked for us in the sense that like, oh, there's a small percentage of smart marks who we can, and even then you could see like doling out like just some of the language, even, you know, the word jabroni or this or that, and The Rock would do that with little winks. That was like, for most people, like, oh, what are they talking about? It was that growing fan base that like they're into the behind the scenes stuff, which, you know, frankly now, like, you know, as some guys totally would hate it that the business is exposed, and I guess I'm kind of in that a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. But at this particular time, it was growing, so that just made, you know, the fan base whatever. If you look, just rabid fans, and then like rabid behind the scenes fans, and, you know, smart marks much as yourself, you know. So, but, you know,
it's an exciting moment, and I'm excited for Judgment Day. I think overall, this was a good build. Good, not great, I say. But like you didn't really have to do much because it's a lot of, you're just continuing the story from the last pay-per-view.
Yeah. And like we said a lot before, it's almost like watching a lot of NBA games. That game was terrible, but the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter were exciting.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
The main
event,
yeah.
The main event was really fun, and the last few minutes with the schmozziness really worked to set up the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and you got all your things in. I would give it a 7.2 out of 10.
Okay.
Is that fair?
I'll allow it.
What would you give it?
6.8.
Yeah, we're in the
ballpark. Yeah. Definitely above a 5. Like around there. It was good.
Yeah, I only gave it 7.2 just because The Rock's return and Michaels. That was intriguing. So it's my reasoning. But
all right, folks, that's our show. I want to mention we do have an email address, tftattitudeera@gmail.com. Send us your questions. They're building up for our next Q&A episode. Ooh. We're going to ask Tommy a lot of Q's, and he's going to give us a lot of A's.
Yeah.
TFT Attitude Era, also on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. We post stuff all the time. Check us out, and we'll catch you next time on Tales from the Attitude Era.
Ooh, intriguing.